The locker room smells like sweat and cheap deodorant, and I brace myself the second I step in. The laughter starts before I even reach my locker. "Hey, Marcus. Enjoy your little peep show last time." Miko's voice cuts through the noise, sharp as a blade. I don't answer, just keep walking. My pulse is already pounding in my ears, but I can't give them the reaction they want. Just ignore them. Keep moving. Another voice chimes in, John this time. "Must be paradise for you here, huh? All these guys around. Get enough eye candy today?" They think they're clever. Like I haven't heard the same crap every day for the past year. I keep my eyes down, focusing on getting to my locker, but it's no use. Miko and his gang are already circling. "You don't say much, Marcus. What's wrong?" Tongue-tied from all that. Excitement. Miko's right in my face now, a smirk pulling at his mouth. I clench my fists, trying to keep calm, trying not to let the heat building in my chest explode. I need to get my stuff and get out. I should have waited until the locker room cleared out, but now it's too late. I don't look at him. That only makes it worse. "Ah, don't be shy. We know what you get up to," he says, stepping closer. Behind him, John and Ivan are laughing, egging him on. My heart's hammering now. The walls of the locker room pressing in. Then I see it, the setup. My stomach drops as I spot the underwear hanging from my locker door. Evans. Seriously, I mutter under my breath, trying to push past them to get it off, but they're not having it. "Oh, look, guys, he's already drooling over Ivan's undies," John says, grinning. I whip around, my face heating up. "I didn't epi." "Sure you didn't," Marcus. Ivan steps up now, arms crossed. "Just admit it. You've got a little collection going, don't you? What else are you keeping in that locker, huh?" The laughter's deafening now. My fists are trembling. But I know if I say anything, it'll just give them more to feed on. Pathetic Ivan spits, leaning in closer, his breath hot against my ear. "Just stay out of my stuff, or I swear." The sound of their laughter feels like it's cutting me to pieces, but I can't give them what they want. Not here. Not now. So I do the only thing I can. I turn my back, grab the stupid underwear, and shove it in the trash. I slam my locker shut, my hand still shaking from the adrenaline. My whole body feels like it's on fire, but I know better than to lash out. That's what they want. They want me to crack. "Look at him," John says, his voice dripping with sarcasm. I think he's actually pissed about the underwear thing. I don't make eye contact. Just focus on my breathing. In, out. Get out of here, I tell myself. But as I turn to leave, Ivan steps in front of me, blocking my way. "You're not going anywhere," Pervy says, voice low enough that only I can hear. His eyes are sharp, daring me to do something. Anything that would give him an excuse. "I didn't touch your stuff," I say, my voice barely above a whisper, but steady. "You know it." "I know it." He smirks. "Doesn't matter, does it? Everyone knows you're a freak anyway. Might as well own it." Behind him, Miko's laughing again, and I catch a glimpse of John snapping a picture on his phone. It's a game to them, poking, prodding, waiting for me to break. I've been here before. I know how this works. But before I can think of my next move, Ivan grabs my shirt, shoving me back against the lockers. The cold metal bites into my back, but the pain barely registers. My heart's racing, hands clenched at my sides, but I keep my face blank. No reaction. Stay calm. "What's your problem?" I snap before I can stop myself. "Stupid." I shouldn't have said anything. Ivan grins, his face inches from mine now. You're my problem." He's right in my face, and I can feel the tension rising between us. My mind's screaming for me to shove him off, to punch him, anything to make this stop, but I know how this stop. They'll twist it. Make it look like I started it. I've seen it before. I'll be the one in trouble, not them. "Back off," I manage through gritted teeth, trying to keep my voice steady. He laughs, letting go of my shirt, but the smirk never leaves his face. "Whatever you say, Marcus." I don't wait for more. I push past him, my heart pounding, legs shaky, but determined to get the hell out of this place. As I make my way toward the door, I hear Miko call after me. "Better keep your hands to yourself, freak." The door slams shut behind me, and I'm finally free of their voices, but the anger still boils inside me. I make it a few steps down the hallway before I hear them behind me. Their footsteps echo off the tiles, picking up speed. I know what's coming before it happens, but I still can't stop the surge of panic. "Hey, Marcus." Ivan's voice is louder now, and I can feel them closing in. I glance over my shoulder and see them, Ivan, Miko, and John, all of them grinning like they've already won. I stop in my tracks, spinning around, trying to look like I'm not terrified. "What now?" I snap. Even though I already know. My fists ball up at my sides. I tell myself not to flinch, not to give them the satisfaction. Ivan steps forward first, his eyes narrowing. "You don't get to just walk away like that." His voice is low, but it carries a threat that sends a shiver down my spine. "You think you can ignore us?" "I'm done with this," I say, trying to push past him, but as soon as I do, his hand shoots out, grabbing my arm. "You're not done until we say you're done." Before I can react, his fist slams into my stomach. The air rushes out of my lungs and I double over, gasping. My knees almost buckle, but I force myself to stay upright. The pain spreads through me, sharp and hot, but I refuse to go down. Not like this. Miko and John are laughing now, watching like this is some kind of show. My vision blurs for a second, and I hear Ivan's voice again, close to my ear. "You're nothing, Marcus," he hisses. "Just a loser who doesn't know his place." I cough, struggling to straighten up, but before I can find my balance, Ivan's fist crashes into my jaw this time. My head snaps to the side, and I stumble, barely catching myself on the wall. Why I choke out, wiping blood from my split lip. "What the hell did I ever do to you?" Ivan sneers, stepping back for a moment like he's thinking about it. "You exist." That's enough. The laughter behind him gets louder, and I can't stop the helpless feeling clawing its way up inside me. My body's screaming at me to fight back, but I know if I do, they'll just twist it. I'll end up looking like the villain. I take a shaky breath, my eyes flicking between the three of them. "Just leave me alone." Or what Ivan asks, his grin widening. "You gonna cry, Marcus? Gonna run to the teachers?" I don't answer. I can't. My throat's too tight, and the pain from my jaw is making it hard to focus. All I can think about is getting out of here before they break me. But before Ivan can move in for another hit, a voice cuts through the hallway, sharp and commanding. "That's enough." Ivan's fist freezes in midair. All three of them turn toward the voice, and I follow their gaze, barely able to stand straight. Lean's standing there, arms crossed, expression unreadable but unmistakably calm. The most popular guy in school, and somehow the only one who's ever seemed untouchable. The hallway goes dead quiet. "Walk away," Lean says, his voice firm, leaving no room for argument. He's not yelling, but he doesn't need to. There's power in how he carries himself, like he already knows they'll listen. Ivan hesitates, his jaw tightening. He looks back at me, his eyes flashing with rage, then at Lean. "What's it to you?" Ivan's voice has lost some of its edge, but he's still holding on to that smirk like he's not backing down. "You really want to find out?" Lean steps forward, and suddenly the hallway feels even smaller. "Because if you keep this up, I'll make sure the school knows exactly what kind of coward you are." For a moment, no one moves. It's like a standoff, both of them staring each other down. I can barely breathe, watching, waiting for something to snap. But then, like someone flipped a switch, Ivan shrugs and backs off. "Whatever, man," he mutters. "Not worth it." He gives me one last glare before turning to Miko and John. "Let's go." Bo. Miko snickers. But even he doesn't argue. They start walking, throwing one last glance over their shoulders as they disappear around the corner. And just like that, it's over. The tension in my chest loosens, and I finally let out the breath I didn't realize I was holding. But I'm still shaking, the adrenaline buzzing through me. I lean back against the wall, my hand on my side where Ivan's fist landed. "Are you okay?" Lean's voice pulls me out of the daze, and I look up to find him standing right in front of me now, his expression softening. "Yeah, I think so," I manage, though my body screams otherwise. My lip throbs, and I can feel the bruise forming on my jaw. "Why did you do that?" He doesn't answer right away, just looks at me for a long moment, like he's deciding something. Then he shrugs. "Couldn't just let them get away with that." There's more to it, I can tell, but I don't press. I'm still too stunned by the fact that Lean, of all people, came to my defense, the guy who never gets involved in anyone else's mess. "Come on," he says, his tone shifting as he offers me his hand. "Let's get you cleaned up." I hesitate, glancing at his outstretched hand. For a second, I almost pull away, instinctively waiting for the next punch, another taunt. But there's none of that in his eyes. Just concern. So I take his hand, and he pulls me up, his grip firm, steady. And for the first time in a long time, I don't feel like I'm facing this alone. The silence between us stretches as we walk. Lean's grip on my arm is steady but light, like he's making sure I don't collapse, but also not trying to smother me. I don't get it why he's even bothering. No one ever does. We reach the empty bathroom, and Lean lets go, pushing open the door with a quiet creak. The fluorescent lights flicker above us, casting a harsh glow over the white tiles. He walks straight to the sink, grabbing a wad of paper towels and running them under cold water. "You're bleeding," he says matter-of-factly, turning to me. "Here." Her. I stare at the damp paper towel for a second before taking it. "Thanks." He leans against the sink, watching me as I press the towel to my lip. The cold stings, but it feels good, like I can finally breathe again. My mind's still racing, though. Why is he here? Why does he care? "You didn't have to step in," I mumble, my voice sounding small even to me. I keep my eyes on the floor, the sting of humiliation still fresh. I had it under control. Lean raises an eyebrow. "Looked like it." I shoot him a glare, but there's no heat behind it. He's right, and we both know it. I didn't have anything under control, not with Ivan's fist connecting with my face. "Why'd you do it?" I ask again, looking up this time. There's a bite to my voice I didn't intend, but I need to know. He shrugs, but there's something deeper in his eyes, something he's not saying. They were out of line. No one should deal with that. There it is again, that vague, nonchalant answer that doesn't satisfy me. I press harder. "But you don't even know me." He looks at me then, really looks at me like he's trying to decide something. After a long pause, he finally says, "Maybe I know more than you think." I blink. What's that supposed to mean? He doesn't answer right away, just turns back to the sink, grabbing more paper towels. "It means I've seen enough to know you didn't deserve that." He hands me another towel. but there's a heaviness in his voice now, like he's not just talking about what happened today. I want to push more to ask him what he means exactly, but I don't. Something about the way he's holding himself, a little too tense for a guy who's supposed to have everything together, tells me there's more going on here than I realize. He clears his throat, breaking the silence. Anyway, you good to walk, or do you need a minute? I'm fine, I lie, wincing as I dab at the bruise forming on my jaw. Lean watches me for another second, then nods. All right, let's get out of here before they come looking for round two. He's already heading for the door, but I can't help the question that slips out. Why now? He stops, his hand on the door handle, and glances over his shoulder. What? Why step in now? After all this time, why bother? There's a flicker in his eyes, something almost like guilt, but he hides it quickly with another shrug. Maybe it just felt like the right time. And just like that, he's out the door, leaving me with more questions than answers. The rest of the day passes in a blur. I can still feel the ache in my jaw and stomach, but that's not what's bothering me. It's Lean, his words, his actions, and most of all, the way he acted like he knew me. He knew something about me that I didn't even know myself. I try to shake it off, but when I get home, he's all I can think about. I head up to my room, toss my bag on the floor, and fall into my bed staring at the ceiling. The memory of his eyes, sharp, confident, but with something hidden behind them, keeps replaying in my head. The message comes in just as I'm about to drift off. My phone buzzes, and I reach for it, assuming it's some random class notification. But it's not. Lean, you good? My heart skips. Lean. I sit up, staring at the screen like it's some kind of mistake. No way he's texting me. I hesitate for a second before typing back. Yeah, I'm fine. You? There's a pause. And then, Lean, fine. Just wanted to check in. That was rough today. I don't know how to respond. Rough? That's an understatement. But the fact that he's even bothering to check on me, it's weird, unexpected. I start typing, then stop, then start again. Me, thanks for stepping in. You didn't have to. Lean, I know. His short replies only make my head spin more. There's no explanation, no deep insight into why he helped. He's keeping it surface level and it's driving me crazy. I take a breath and decide to go for it. Me, you said you knew more than I think. What did you mean by that? I hit send before I can second guess myself, my fingers tightening around the phone. The silence drags on for what feels like forever, and I'm about to give up when the typing bubble pops up. Lean, let's talk. Meet me outside in 10. I sit there staring at the screen, my mind racing. Meet him? Now. I glance out my window, the fading light of dusk settling over the street. It feels surreal, but there's no way I'm ignoring this. 10 minutes later, I'm standing outside my house, and Lean pulls up in his car, the headlights cutting through the evening. I walk over, trying not to show how nervous I am, and slide into the passenger seat. I didn't think he'd actually show up, he says, a hint of amusement in his voice as he pulls away from the curb. I'm full of surprises, I mutter, trying to sound casual, but my heart's still pounding. So, what's this about? He doesn't answer right away, his eyes focused on the road ahead. After a minute, he sighs. You're not the only one who's had it rough at that school, you know. That takes me by surprise. Lean? Popular? Untouchable Lean? Seriously, I ask, turning to look at him. You? He gives a tight nod. Yeah, it wasn't always easy, different reasons, but I get it. His knuckles tighten around the steering wheel. That's why I couldn't just let them keep going after you. I don't know what to say. I've always assumed guys like him, guys who have it all, don't deal with the same crap the rest of us do. But now he's telling me he's been through something similar. It changes everything. You could have told me, I say quietly, unsure of where this conversation is going. Why didn't you, Lean glances at me, his expression unreadable. Because it's not something I talk about. And you don't seem like the type to ask for help. He's right. I've never asked for help from anyone. But the fact that he's offering it now, after all this time, it's like a crack in the walls I've built around myself. Thanks, I say, the word feeling awkward on my tongue. Lean smirks, the tension easing a little. Don't mention it. Just try not to get yourself punched again. Okay. I manage a weak laugh. The first real one I've had all day. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like maybe things are starting to change. The next day at school, everything feels off. I can feel people's eyes on me, whispers in the halls. Part of me thinks it's because of what happened with Ivan and his gang, but another part, one I can't ignore, wonders if it's because of Lean. After last night, things between us feel different, like there's some invisible thread tying us together now, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I catch a glimpse of him between classes, surrounded by the usual crowd, athletes, student council types, people I've never had a shot of getting close to. He's laughing, talking like nothing's changed, but I can't shake the feeling that we're in some strange orbit now, like he's watching me, even when he's not looking. I keep my head down and focus on getting through the day. But in every class, in every hallway, it's like I can feel the weight of what happened yesterday and last night pressing down on me. I replay his words in my head over and over. You're not the only one who's had it rough. I want to believe him, but I can't figure him out. Why me? Why now? By lunchtime, I'm ready to bolt. I grab my tray, planning to eat outside alone like always, but as I head for the door, someone grabs my shoulder. It's Lean. Hey, he says, like it's the most normal thing in the world for him to stop me in the middle of a crowded cafeteria. Mind if I join you? I blink, thrown completely off. He's not supposed to talk to me here, not in front of everyone. What are you? I start, but he's already steering me outside, ignoring the stares and murmurs from the tables around us. Once we're outside, away from the crowd, I stop and turn to him. What's going on? My voice comes out harsher than I intend, but I can't help it. You're acting like we're friends or something. He raises an eyebrow, leaning casually against the wall. Aren't we? I stare at him, trying to process what he's saying. No, we barely know each other. He shrugs, completely unfazed. We know enough. I shake my head, feeling the frustration bubbling up. You're not making sense. Why do you keep doing this? You show up out of nowhere, help me out, and now you're acting like we've been buddies for years. What's your deal? For a moment, Lean doesn't answer. He just looks at me, his expression unreadable, and then he sighs. Maybe I like helping people who need it. I cross my arms, not buying it. And you think I need it? Yeah, he says, meeting my eyes without hesitation. I think you do. His words hit harder than I expect. I've spent so long trying to keep people at arm's length, pretending I don't need anyone, that hearing one of the earrings say it so bluntly leaves me feeling exposed, vulnerable. I don't need a savior, I mutter, looking away. I'm not trying to be one, Lean says, his voice calm, steady. I'm just trying to look out for you. Whether you want that or not, it's up to you. I don't know how to respond to that. No one's ever talked to me like this before, like I'm worth something, like I matter. I glance back at him, trying to figure him out, but all I see is sincerity, and it scares me. I don't know what you're expecting from me, I say quietly. He smiles, but it's softer this time, not the cocky grin I'm used to seeing. I'm not expecting anything. Just thought maybe you could use a friend. I feel the ground shift beneath me, and suddenly I don't know what to do. Whatever this is, it's new, confusing, and it's pulling me in whether I like it or not. Fine, I say, exhaling slowly. We can try this friends thing. Lean's smile widens, and for the first time, it doesn't feel forced. Good. That's all I'm asking. The whole friends thing with Lean is strange. We fall into a routine like this is how it's always been. He starts sitting with me at lunch, walking with me after classes, and people notice. Whispers start following us wherever we go, but Lean seems unaffected, like he doesn't care what anyone thinks. I wish I could say the same. A few weeks pass, and I'm still trying to figure him out. There's something deeper there, behind that easy smile of his, something he's not saying, and it's messing with my head. I want to know him, really know him, but every time I get close, he pulls back, like there's a wall he won't let me past. One night, after a long day of pretending like everything's normal, Lean texts me. Lean, you up? It's late, too late for casual conversation, and my gut tells me something's different tonight. Still, I reply, Mia, why? Lean, come over, we need to talk. I don't hesitate. I grab my jacket, sneak out of the house, and make my way to his place. The night air is cool, but my skin is burning, my mind racing with a million thoughts. What does he want to talk about? Is something wrong? When I get to his house, he's already outside, sitting on the front steps. His usual calm expression is gone, replaced by something I can't quite read, something heavier. He doesn't say anything as I approach, just nods for me to sit next to him. We sit in silence for a while, the quiet night stretching between us. I'm waiting for him to start, but the longer the silence drags on, the more I feel like I need to say something first. What's going on, Lean? I ask, keeping my voice low. Why'd you ask me here? He exhales, staring straight ahead. I've been thinking. A lot. About what? About you? About us. The word us hangs in the air, and my heart skips a beat. I try to play it cool, but I can feel the shift between us like the ground is about to give way. What do you mean? Lean turns to look at me, and for the first time I see something raw in his eyes. I told you before that I knew what you were going through. That it wasn't just about helping you out of a tough spot. It's more than that. My chest tightens, but I stay quiet, letting him talk. I didn't step in that day just because it was the right thing to do. I did it because he pauses, running a hand through his hair, clearly struggling to find the words, because I've felt the same way. About you. The air between us feels electric, charged with something neither of us is ready to say out loud, but I know what he means. It's been there, bubbling under the surface since that first day. The glances, the tension, the way my pulse picks up every time he's near. I don't know what you're saying, I lie, my voice barely a whisper, but he doesn't buy it, neither do I. Lean's gaze doesn't waver, his eyes searching mine. You do, you know exactly what I'm saying. And then, before I can think, before I can stop it, he leans in. The kiss is soft at first, tentative, like we're both testing the waters, but then it deepens, and the world falls away. Everything I've been trying to push down, everything I've been telling myself I couldn't feel, it all crashes over me in that moment. My hands find his shirt, gripping it like I'm afraid he'll disappear if I let go. When we finally pull back, I'm breathless, my heart racing, and Lean is staring at me with the same intensity I've felt building for weeks. There's no going back now. Whatever this is between us, it's real. And it's terrifying. Lean, I start, but he cuts me off with a shake of his head. I know, he says softly. This is a lot. We don't have to figure it all out tonight. But the truth is, I don't know if I can. My mind is spinning, and all I can focus on is the taste of him still on my lips, the way my whole body feels like it's on fire. This changes everything. Let's take it slow, he adds, his voice gentler now, almost hesitant. I don't want to mess this up. I nod, still reeling from the kiss, from the way everything shifted between us. Yeah, slow. But even as I say it, I know nothing's going to be slow about this. The next day, everything feels different. I wake up with Lean's kiss still burning on my lips, my mind replaying every moment from last night on an endless loop. There's no going back now. What we did, it's real. It happened. But I have no idea what comes next. I keep my head down all morning, my thoughts too loud, my body too tense. I'm hyper aware of everything, how people look at me, how they whisper as I pass, but I can't tell if it's all in my head or if something's changed for real. When I see Lean at lunch, my stomach knots. He's sitting with his usual crowd, laughing like everything's normal. Meanwhile, I'm standing here, feeling like the ground's been ripped out from under me. Does he regret it? Did it mean anything? I'm about to turn and walk the other way when he catches my eye. He doesn't hesitate, just stands up, walks straight over to me like there's nothing weird about any of this. Hey, he says, that easy smile on his face like he's not carrying the same weight I am. Hey, I reply, my voice quieter than I mean it to be. I glance around, nerves buzzing under my skin. We're in the middle of the cafeteria. Anyone could be watching. We good, he asks, his tone light, but I can see the question hiding behind his eyes. He's checking, waiting for me to freak out, but I can't. Not here. Not now. We're good, I lie, forcing a smile. But inside, I'm not sure if we are. Not after last night. He seems satisfied, giving me a nod before heading back to his table, but the pit in my stomach stays. I watch him go, my mind racing. This can't be normal. Acting like everything's fine, like nothing's changed? Because everything has changed. The rest of the day drags, and by the time I'm heading home, my nerves are shot. I don't know if it's fear, confusion, or the weight of what we've done, but I know I can't keep it all bottled up. Later that evening, I get another text from Lean. Lean, come over. I hesitate, staring at the screen. Part of me wants to ignore it, pretend like last night didn't happen, but I know I can't. I need answers. I need to know what this is. So I go. When I get to his house, Lean's waiting outside again. He looks the same as always, calm, collected, but there's something in his eyes that wasn't there before, something vulnerable. He leads me inside and we sit in his room, the silence stretching between us until I can't take it anymore. What are we doing? Lean, I blurt out, unable to hold it in any longer. What happened last night? That wasn't just nothing. He's quiet for a moment, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees, his face unreadable. I know it wasn't nothing. Then what was it? I press, my voice breaking slightly. Because I don't know how to act around you now. Are we just supposed to pretend like everything's normal? He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck. I don't want to pretend, but I also don't want to rush into something neither of us is ready for. So what are we, I ask, the question hanging heavy in the air. Are we something? Lean looks up at me, and for the first time his guard drops completely. I want us to be. I do. He hesitates, his voice softer now, but I don't know how to make this work without everything blowing up in our faces. I let his words sink in. He's right. This isn't some high school crush we can keep under wraps. If people find out, if Ivan, Miko, and the others catch wind of it, it's going to be hell for both of us. We can't keep hiding, I say, but even as the words leave my mouth, I know how impossible they sound. We might have to, he replies, his voice steady but filled with doubt. For now, at least. The weight of his words presses down on me, making it hard to breathe. This thing between us, whatever it is real, but it's also dangerous. And there's no easy answer, no way to make it all fit neatly into the world we live in. I stand up, pacing the room. I don't know if I can do this, I admit, my voice shaking, but I don't know if I can just keep pretending like we're nothing when every time I look at you. Lean stands up too, closing the distance between us. We don't have to figure everything out right now, he says, his hand brushing against mine. But I don't want to lose this. Not before we even know what it could be. I look up at him, my heart pounding. The pull between us is stronger than ever, and I know I'm already too far in to turn back. Okay, I whisper. But we take it slow. He nods, a small smile tugging at his lips. Slow. But as we stand there inches apart, I can feel how quickly everything is spiraling. We might say slow, but nothing about this feels slow at all. The days pass, and we fall into this unspoken rhythm. Lean and I keep it low-key, like nothing's changed on the surface. We exchange quick glances in class, short conversations in the hallway, but underneath it all, there's this fire simmering between us. Every time we're alone, it gets harder to pretend we're just friends. But we have no choice. If anyone finds out, well, we both know what happens next. It doesn't help that Ivan and his crew are still watching me like hawks, waiting for any excuse to mess with me. And Lean, popular, untouchable Lean, can't afford to be caught up in the mess that is my life, so we keep our distance in public, even when it feels like it's killing us both. One afternoon, I'm sitting alone under a tree near the back of the school, trying to get a grip on everything. I'm tired of hiding, tired of pretending I don't feel the way I do, tired of feeling like I'm waiting for the inevitable blow-up that's going to ruin everything. That's when I hear footsteps. I look up, and there he is, Lean, standing in front of me, hands shoved in his pockets. There's something different in his expression today. He's not his usual calm, controlled self. He looks torn, like he's made a decision and he's not sure if it's the right one. "What are you doing here?" I ask, glancing around to make sure no one else is watching. "We're supposed to be." "I don't care," he interrupts, his voice low but steady. "I'm done with all of it. The hiding, the pretending. I'm done." My heart skips a beat, but I can see the conflict in his eyes. "What are you saying?" He steps closer, looking down at me with a seriousness that makes my chest tighten. "I'm saying I can't keep doing this, sneaking around, acting like what's between us doesn't matter. It does matter. You matter." I open my mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. My mind is racing, and all I can think is, this is it? The moment we've been avoiding. The moment that changes everything. "I know it's risky," Lean continues, his voice softening, "and I know it's going to get messy. But I don't care anymore, Marcus. I'm not going to live my life based on what people like Ivan think. I'm choosing this. I'm choosing us." The weight of his words hits me like a freight train. Everything we've been trying to protect, our reputations, our safety, falls away in that moment, and all that's left is the truth. I don't want to hide either, I admit, my voice barely above a whisper. "But if people find out, they will," he says, cutting me off gently, "and we'll deal with it when it happens. Together." I shake my head, my hands trembling. "I'm scared, Lean. You don't know what they'll do to us." He kneels in front of me, grabbing my hands, holding them tight. "I know, but I'm not going anywhere. I've got your back, no matter what. And if this blows up, then it blows up. I'm still choosing you." His words send a rush of warmth through me, but there's still a part of me that's terrified. The reality of what this means, what could happen if Ivan and his crew find out, hangs over us like a storm cloud. But in this moment, looking into Lean's eyes, all I feel is this overwhelming need to let go of the fear, to take the risk. "I don't want to lose you," I say, my voice cracking, "but I don't know if I'm strong enough for this." "You are," Lean says without hesitation, his grip tightening around my hands, "and we'll figure it out together." For a long moment, we just sit there, the quiet between us filled with everything we've been too afraid to say. The fear is still there, but now it's balanced with something else, something stronger. I pull him closer, pressing my forehead against his, and in that moment, the world fades away. There's no Ivan, no bullies, no school filled with judgmental eyes. It's just Lean and me and the choice we've made. "I'm with you," I whisper, my heart pounding, "no matter what." And just like that, the decision is made. I kiss him, and this time there's no hesitation, no doubt. Just the feeling of rightness, like I've finally stepped into the life I was always supposed to have. When we pull apart, Lean smiles, brushing his thumb across my cheek. "This is only the beginning." I nod, my pulse still racing. "Yeah, but it's ours." As we stand up, ready to face whatever comes next, I know the storm is coming, but for the first time in a long time, I'm not afraid, because I'm not facing it alone.